All right, Trussville. I know I've been recording these podcasts, the Writer's Block podcast episodes over the last few months with mayoral candidates, Trussville City Council candidates, as official qualifying begins for the 2025 municipal elections in Trussville. I wanted just to kind of level set all the podcasts, all the people who have entered as of this recording, which is, I'm recording this on the evening of June 4th, so we are 6 days out currently from qualifying beginning. Candidates who wish to qualify, file their paperwork, all that, they have from June 10th until June 24th to really officially throw their hats in the ring. And they have to declare what place they're running for. Trussville has places on the city council, 5 seats. They don't have districts like some other municipalities across Alabama, across the country. So you throw your hat in the ring, you can pick place 1, you can pick place 5, whatever you want to do. So I just wanted to very quickly just run through the candidates and just a little bit about them. So I'm going to have to go to the notes because this has been the craziest election cycle. I am not a politics person, but I am a community person. Those who have watched the podcast or followed anything I've maybe written over the years certainly knows that. So it feels in a way like Trussville's at a fork in the road of sorts. You know, that's for other people to decide. I just like talking to people. So we'll go through this. Obviously, mayor's race, start at the top. Everybody knows. Ben Short, that's been on the Trussville City Council since this last election in 2020. He is running for mayor. Also, Lisa Bright, also elected to the city council at the same time Ben was, also running for mayor. And JT Smallwood, the Jefferson County tax collector for years, has also entered the race relatively recently. So you've got three people as of June 4th that are, I don't expect anybody else to, but you've got 3 people running for mayor in Ben Short, Lisa Bright, JT Smallwood. Let's move to the city council, and I'm just going to go place 1 through place 5 as we know it today. Things could change during qualifying. We might have someone who hasn't announced yet that all of a sudden fills out paperwork on June 10th or June 24th or really any date in between that just surprisingly throws their hat in the ring. So I don't know who that person might be, if anybody, but if there's anything we've learned so far in 2025, it's a little bit crazy in Trussville right now. So place 1. Wayne Taylor, he was on the council for years. He is running again for place 1. Funnily enough, I asked him on the podcast, why place 1? And well, he previously served on place 1 and would not have to buy new yard signs. Makes sense to me. He will be running against Ben Horton, who has not been in the Trussville political scene before. Like he hasn't been on council or anything like that. Ben runs the Cahaba Fire Company, does a lot of cool stuff, helping firefighters get what they need to do the job effectively. I encourage you to check out that podcast as well. I encourage you to check out all these podcasts so you can learn. On these podcasts, I didn't necessarily push these candidates super hard on anything, which I've gotten some pushback for, but it was so early in the process that I wanted them a chance to introduce themselves to the community, let people know what they're about, what their background is, why they feel led to run, that sort of thing. So place 1, you've got Wayne Taylor and Ben Horton. Place 2 is interesting. I recorded a podcast with Alan Taylor, who is one of the more senior, more experienced people on that current city council, along with Perry Cook, who is not seeking re-election. So Alan, I didn't think was going to run again personally. He decides to, and I asked him about that. I was kind of like, do you feel a little bit like the movie The Godfather, where, just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in? And he kind of laughed and acknowledged, yeah, a little bit, with so much turnover that we'll talk about, so much turnover that he felt like, you see guys in sports, right, that could retire, maybe they're quote unquote past their prime playing days, that kind of thing, but their experience, their leadership, their know-how is super valuable. So I think personally that's why he was seeking re-election. Only recently did he decide to step away and just kind of say, now is time for me to move on. Right before he announced that, I think it was right before he announced that, Brian Jackson announced that he is running for place 2. No B-roll in this video of a podcast with Brian Jackson because I'm recording it in 2 days from this recording on June 4th. So Brian's podcast will be out shortly so that you can get to know him as well. So currently, again, everything is as of this recording, Brian is currently unopposed in place 2. Place 3, very much like place 2, Jamie Melton Anderson, Jean Melton, former Mayor Jean Melton's daughter. She has served on this past City Council administration. She is running for re-election in place 3. She is also currently unopposed. All right, moving on. Place 4. Currently, you have 2 newcomers, much like Ben Horton in place 1. You have Mildred Lanier Reed, who moved to Trussville in the last couple years, works at First Baptist Church Trussville. She moved here from Pelham, and that's an interesting podcast that I really do think people should really take a look at, take a listen to, because maybe you're not as familiar with Mildred, and I asked her about that. I mean, I think that was the elephant in the room, was, do you feel like you have the name recognition? That kind of thing. So she served on Pelham's city council. She's well versed in planning and zoning and those kinds of issues, which have a lot of planning and zoning has kind of dominated Trussville these last 4 or 5 years, really in the last 1 or 2. But she has experience in that realm, so I encourage you to watch that. She's running against, in place 4, Jim Miller, another newcomer to running for city council. Jim, I'm not biased. I'm not saying I'm voting for any of these people, but Jim's a history guy. So me and him talked a lot of history. We talked a lot of Trussville history, a lot of local history. Jim's a veteran, and that's another. Again, I'm just going to continue to say, listen to these podcasts, watch these podcasts, decide for yourself. But that's an interesting race, just with 2 newcomers going against each other. Currently in place 5, you have Anthony Montalto, who previously served on past Trussville City Council administrations. That, again, no B-roll here right now, because the podcast, the episode of The Writer's Block with Anthony Montalto, to be recorded at a future date. We've scheduled it. It just hasn't happened just yet. So he is currently running against Kimberly Farr. Kimberly is also, again, another newcomer, works at Spock Automation in Trussville. Really enjoyed my conversation with her, and just some of her thoughts and seeing how she's going about navigating these new waters. Same thing with Ben Horton, Jim Miller, Mildred Lanier Reed, to a degree, since she has this experience, albeit in a different city. Just seeing how they're kind of navigating these things and why they decided to run, and all these new challenges they're finding during this campaign. Is it what you thought it would be? Like that kind of thing. Also, 2 more to mention. One of the very first podcasts that I recorded was with Drew Lawley, who was also running for city council, and I believe Drew was also running for place 5 initially. He was maybe one of the first to announce. I graduated high school with Drew. I also graduated with Ben Short. We're all class of 2006 at Hewitt-Trussville High School. So Drew announces, and he's starting a campaign, and he posted on Facebook about not too long ago about just needing to, he felt it was right to kind of step away from the campaign. It wasn't the right time family commitments, that kind of thing. Very much like Alan Taylor, different stages of life. Alan being more in the grandparent stage of life, Drew being very much in the dad phase of life, and just choosing to say, maybe not never, but not right now. And then finally, Leslie Hughes is also running for city council, and maybe by the time you see this, maybe she has announced her place, maybe not. Really enjoyed my conversation with Leslie. Did not know her at all before we talked on the writer's block. Don't know who excuse me, don't know what place she's running for. I do like how she came across very strategic, very measured. I've said that to her, and it'll be interesting to see which place she chooses. Have no idea. Like I said, she's measured, so she didn't be like, hey, don't say anything, but I'm going to run for this place or that place. None of that. She's working with her family, with her team to figure that out, and I respect that. And it'll be interesting to see which fray she jumps into, and ultimately if there's anybody else that we don't know about as of this date that also chooses to run. So like I said, those are kind of the candidates we've got right now in Trussville. There's going to be a lot of turnover just naturally. Like Ben Short and Lisa Bright have been on city council. Obviously both of them are vacating those spots to run for mayor. Perry Cook is not seeking re-election. Alan Taylor's not seeking re-election. Mayor Buddy Choate, the mayor for the last couple terms, he is also stepping away. So right now you're going to have, everybody will be a newcomer in some way, except for Jamie Anderson if she remains unopposed in place 3. So, Wayne Taylor's been there before, but there's been a gap. Anthony Montalto's been there before, but there's been a gap. So stay tuned to the Writer's Block podcast. I'm trying to record these with everybody. That's what I've told everybody. If I record with one, I'm going to attempt to record with all. And I think it's been beneficial to people, and I hope it's been beneficial to you. And stay tuned. There might be a little more on the docket ahead of the municipal election in Trussville, which is scheduled for August 26th, Tuesday, August 26th. That day can't get here soon enough, and we'll see how it turns out. And make sure y'all subscribe, like, do all the things. And hope this was informative for now. Hope it was a good recap, and stay tuned to see what's next.